Dear members and guests, tonight we have IMA, a non-profit organization whose primary goal is to promote economic, social, and cultural activities on St. Martin, and it donates and supports various worthy social culture and charitable events amid other causes on the island. It was formed in 1972. At the moment, our own, I should say, the charter member and honorary member, Damu Raftani, is the president of IMA, and our own Cookie Bijlani is the vice president of IMA, and the presenter for tonight, the secretary of IMA, Mr. Sunny Lalvani. Sunny Lalvani migrated to St. Martin in 1997 and started as a salesperson at a jewelry store and successfully opened his own business. He is loved among his peers and community in St. Martin. He's a person with strong moral sense and always helpful and goes the extra mile to help anyone in need. He is involved from planning to executing to being on the field distributing. He has played a pivotal role on different platforms for many humanitarian projects. He has volunteered for food and sanitation distributions, drives for all citizens of St. Martin in the aftermath of Hurricane Irma, and most recently during the lockdown due to COVID. During the aftermath of Irma, he, along with the IMA members, went door to door asking if persons needed to be evacuated from and after Hurricane Irma. He championed the cause of evacuation and helped evacuate more than 350 persons during this time. He was a part of the volunteer team that collected relief supplies for the hurricane hit Haiti. Because of this initiative, food enough to fit the entire container was collected and filled and sent off to Dominica, which was devastated by major storms. Sunny was recognized by the Indian ambassador to Kingdom of Netherlands for his support during the Hurricane Irma evacuations. He was honored with a letter of appreciation, which Sunny holds close to his heart, and honored most recently again for his continued contribution to the community-oriented causes. While not involved in the community, Sunny enjoys traveling, tennis, badminton, playing brain-stimulating games, and educational games with his 11-year-old daughter, and spend quality time with his wife. Right now, I would like to hand over the floor to Sunny. Welcome, Sunny.
Thank you, Dolly. Thank you for that warm welcome. A very good evening to all the Rotary family. Thank you to each one of you for having me here, and special thanks to President Dolly for extending the invitation to the Indian Merchant Association. As a representative association of close to 200 businesses and its workforce of approximately 1,500 by extension, IMA is deeply rooted and committed to the economic welfare and is a major stakeholder of our country's economy as well. We are one of the few associations which are also recognized by the ILO. Many of our members are directly and actively involved and play important roles, in various social and economic committees and organizations such as Rotary clubs. We have Dolly right here as an example, and Prakash. We have animal groups, Chamber of Commerce. Our IMA board member, Vinod Kotai, is also a board member in the Chamber of Commerce. And then we are represented well at the Tripartite Committee with our very own President Damu Rautani, and more notably now in the Parliament of St. Martin with our own honorary MP Bijlani. My topic of presentation today is effects of COVID on the economy of St. Martin. Before I discuss COVID, I want to take you back just a little prior to September of 2017, when our island was devastated by the effects of monster Hurricane Irma, followed by the fall of law and order, which ultimately led to any business's worst nightmare, the infamous looting, which was unprecedented in terms of its size and scale. Our airport was damaged, and our our port was non-functional, tourism was on a standstill, and with little or no government support, even the promised relief funds, earmarked funds for business sector, which still to this day remain in process. We had insurance woes, personal property damage, and in spite of every possible odd that was lined against entrepreneurs and mom and pop stores, almost all our members managed to stay afloat and right through history is one of the most turbulent times that our island had ever seen. Fast forward it to 2018, um, being a snail flat recovery, many businesses still struggling to make ends meet. At one point, we even waived off our membership fees for our members because of lack of economic activity and things being slow. Um, but things uh, started to look optimistic for the tourist season of 2019 and 2020. And many businesses prepared and were poised to take advantage of the economic growth and activity that was predicted. While uh, the pandemic officially started in December of 2019, there was some cancellations of visitors amidst fears. Our tourist product got its first major blow in the first week of February 2020 when the cruise ship Diamond Princess turned out to be the first ship to have a major outbreak on board with over 700 infective positive COVID and 14 dead. This followed by a series of knee-jerk reactions all throughout the industry in terms of cruise ship cancellations, itinerary changes, fear of visitors, berthing of ships that were refused entry in other islands, led to mass hysteria and create a very uncertain environment, which was not conducive for business at all. This was shortly followed by St. Martin's first COVID positive case that was reported on March of 17th, and also was implemented was a partial lockdown by the Prime Minister, and on April 4th, a total lockdown was announced starting April 5, just one day's notice. St. Martin at the time had less than 25 active cases of COVID positives. Tourism was on standstill yet again. Air travel was suspended. Visitors already on the island left the island in chaos. The effects of this pandemic is far more severe and predicted to be of longer lasting than Hurricane Irma. Without any revenue generation, clear government support, bleak economic outlook, uncertain future, businesses were yet again neglected and never approached for providing any insights, advices, or even comments on the current state of affairs, for the businesses were facing. IMA publicly in its own PR criticized the lack of transparencies and commitments from our esteemed leaders in government. Some businesses fell victims of bankruptcies and closures early on after lockdown had ended, while some others continued by investing anew or support from the landlord in terms of lowered or deferred rental payments or by reducing employee hours or restructuring to stay somewhat afloat. Soon after this, St. Martin Stimulus and Relief Plan, SSRP, was announced. While it was a welcome move to help keep employees in jobs by compensating businesses to cover a large portion of its payroll liabilities towards its workforce, but it too came with its own shortcomings. In terms of bringing a real boost to the economy, it fell a lot short. Furthermore, the complicated scales of qualification for SSRP made some businesses fall through the cracks and were denied payroll stimulus altogether. SSRP was also revised within 2 months of rolling out, with stricter conditions required by CFT to qualify for these conditions set by the Netherlands. This meant the business and its employees had to shoulder higher burden of loss of sales due to the pandemic. To summarize, the predicament of businesses, if they want to qualify for SSRP, they must cut through a lot of red tapes and jump some hoops. For example, taxes of the previous month must be paid in full in order for you to qualify for the funds. I am a small business owner, and most of the funds that I receive go into paying the past month taxes. Am I thankful for the support? Sure. As a tax paying entrepreneur of years, yes, I am grateful. Is it helping completely sustain my business and making it viable? No, it doesn't. Is it boosting economy? No, it doesn't. It may be buying some time to stay afloat a little longer, but this approach will not bring us back anywhere close to the levels that existed pre lockdown days. The current status of payroll support is that the application of July payroll support are in process for being screened. This means whilst the October paychecks are to be made in less than 2 weeks from now, its July support is yet to come through. Given the current scales of depleted sales, businesses are surviving on loss of revenue varying from 90% to 60% lower sales volumes of previous year in this pandemic affected economy. This in turn means much depleted cash flow to cover rental, utility costs, monthly tax liabilities, and employees' payroll. All this has to be borne by the businesses for July, August, September, and October, awaiting the payroll support funds that are yet to be granted for July. In spite of all this, many merchants of IMA have kept their workforce, they have kept their employees on payroll, and have not opted to lay them off. Many, between the lockdown and even the SSRP, while it was announced and implemented, a total of 68 businesses have closed and downed its shutters for good in Phillipsburg alone. Unemployment right now is on its peak at 16%, and economic downturn at about 25%, and it's expected to rise further. To make matters more worse, there has been some unexpected surprises that have worked against businesses or economic activity. For example, a simple thing like online schooling, where a parent is tied up with a child at home, it is not good or conducive for local economic activity. Another example was the closure of our borders with our French brothers and sisters. That hurt the economy on both sides, uh, on the French side and as well as the Dutch side. Even with the opening of the airport now, the visitors numbers have not really picked up to show any meaningful progress. The looming uncertainty of yet another COVID wave that is going to hit Europe further demoralizes the private sector. Those who have managed to stay afloat wonder how much longer, how long can their business sustain their employees with 50 or 80 or perhaps 90% drop in sales. Many thought that 2022 for the island to return back to its former glory. Now see 2025 with the airport's unnecessary reconstruction delays coming end of 2022 or early 2023, bearing any future hurricanes or funding setbacks. While we slow recover, if everything falls in place, poverty in the meantime will rise and thus will crime, which is another large uncertain security issue by itself, and a far more serious one than even the bad government policies that we are facing today. The future lies in the hands of the government policies and economic diversification, with swift action necessary to curb the economic spiral downturn in terms of economic GDP growth, tourism, and unemployment. St. Martin may be strong, but how long can a business hold while no proper policies and future support indications and commitments are given? If economic sustainability, care for the environment, and planned strategic development and self-sufficiency will be the key to save our island's future for our children and our next generation to grow, thrive, and continue to live on. If government was a business, if government was a business, then they are the only booming business in this economy today. As the SSRP funds that are meant to keep things going for businesses end up back into government coffers in form of taxes to sustain their own high administrative costs. This is the reality of the situation. It is unfortunately very negative. My intention here is to paint a factual picture of the current state of affairs. However, we are entrepreneurs and we dwell and we live and we breathe in hope and positivity for a better future. So while I have the floor and I have already covered the points that I had to on the effects of COVID, I would like to end this on a little upbeat and positive note. Things that can change in the short term, and this may be far fetched, however, not impossible. Our government recognizes that the small and medium enterprises are the backbone of the economy, and policies are enacted to make them sustainable, create a proper environment for growth, revisit the outdated labor laws, and improve them to reflect more with the times that we are living in. And for all we know, one of the countries, and hopefully it's India because I was born there, will announce a COVID vaccine, and that will bring an end to this long, long nightmare. This will go back to its original track. Sure, there will be some challenges, but in business, it's always better to face a challenge than an uncertainty. For a challenge can bring about the best out of you, and an uncertainty can bring the worst out of you. Most American cruise passengers are waiting for the cruise lines to open so that they can hop in and visit Caribbean. Most timeshare owners just want to return to their favorite home away from home. Our waters are still, the best shade of aqua you will find, and our golden sandy beaches will always attract those tourists for years to come. So let us all stay positive, hold on tight, and inarguably, most definitely, this too shall pass like everything else. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your time. Thank you for Rotarians, and thank you. Back to you, President Dali.
Thank you so much, Sunny. I would actually like to give the floor for a little bit to your Vice President and a Sunriser, Cookie Vijlani, if you can say a few words.
Thank you, President. My words are being blocked since I'm in a government building. I can't be speaking much against my own government. So I will look for another opportunity. But I would say one thing what Sunny is mentioning, I would be scrutinizing more and looking into finding positive avenues into that to lead up to my government to understand and make better judgments in many other things. Of course, the SSRP, what he was mentioning, was not a bloom doom. Without that, we would have the 60% force which we have of the employees, what we call, would have been in a dark shade, and we tried to avoid that. But it was not 100% foolproof plan. So I give kudos to Sunny to bring it up. And of course, I am in coalition meeting now, and we have worked out some different plans, which surely will be opening up within this coming week. So if there are any questions with any members, we are open to answer. Most likely the president is there, Sunny is there, I'm there. One of us can take the floor and answer it. Thank you, President Dolly.
Thank you, Cookie. You and you have million hats. But I cannot end the night without giving the floor to Damu uncle to say a few words. Damu uncle, please say something. We would love to hear from you. Damu uncle, you're on mute.
Yeah, Uncle, you're mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Hello.
yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Once again, good evening to everyone. Good evening to Sunrisers. I always considered Sunriser as my club because I'm the proud charter member of that club. And I see many of my community members also in it, and they are doing very good job. And I'm sorry that I'm not able to attend because too many caps to wear and too many things to do. But my heart is definitely with you all, and I wish you all very good. Coming back to the topic, right? The topic is very relevant, and I want to thank Sunny. He covered each and every point. He did not leave anything which I would like to add, but since I have an opportunity to speak, I will use it to some extent. As far as COVID is concerned, I think our island and our community managed it very well. I don't think so. I go around the world, I hear about it, too many things, but our community stood together, our frontliners stood together. We are much better than anyone else. Now, sticking to the topic, effect of COVID on economy. I mean, the less I say, the better it is, because everyone is IT specialist. They see everything on the WhatsApp. They hear all over what is happening. It is not St. Martin which is suffering, but the globe. It is the suffering of the whole globe. It is, as my parents sometimes tell me, it is worse than the World War without the war. Whatever has happened, to some extent, they also say it has happened because human being is not respecting the nature. And that is why all these viruses come or whatever it is and look at it, without a war, without atom bomb, everything is down. Sticking back to the effect on economy on our island, I personally feel that part was very mismanaged. People did not understand. I think people did understand, the business community did understand, but business community alone cannot do anything. I would like to I will give you few pointers. According to me, the few pointers are, we should understand what is our strength and what is our weakness. We should know what is our charter by which we have to stick. We cannot borrow, we cannot beg, we cannot do anything. We can only go to Holland. If that is the case, I cannot go to Holland and get it. The business community cannot go to Holland. It is the government who has to decide. We need the leadership. We need the government. They must understand what is happening, what people need. People want the economy to go up, and we cannot borrow anywhere else. What is the reason? We must all understand why our fathers or our Holland, who's supposed to put all these conditions, they gave us 10 years. What happened during 10 years? We asked for separate status, country status. What did we do? What were the promises given by our leaders? It was the same leaders there, except for few. And you can't expect new leaders to do some miracle. So what we need is the leadership and understand understand the charter. If we can't get from anywhere, somewhere or the other, people suffering should be given preference. The people suffering is not being given preference. Individual pride, individual things are given first preference. We should, the people in the authority should know how to deal with Holland. They should know how to get the things done to them. And instead of pointing out one finger to them, 4 fingers are pointing to us, which should be very well understood. As far as economy is concerned, I will tell you, I don't know how many people know me so well. Since I came in 1984, I'm very much involved in many committees in the government. I am a very proud St. Martiner. I love St. Martin, and I have devoted a lot of time from the business into the government committees. But I'm very sorry to tell you, I don't know why government doesn't respect the business community. I think some people are born in St. Martin in this club. Show me one day when they called business community and discussed what is the problem or how it can be solved. The economy totally depends on the government policies and the business community. The problem is there is lack of consultation, and every leader must understand that it is a democratic country. They are in a democracy. In democracy, you cannot decide alone. You have to have 3 parts of the democracy: government, people, labor, and the business. They have to sit together and decide. Whichever area is getting affected, they should be consulted. So those consultations are not taking place. We are member of tripartite committee. Last 2 years, there is no tripartite committee. We discussed so many things for the labor laws. Those are not there. Today, if those were taken, today the situation maybe would have been less. I'm not saying we would have avoided COVID, but then there is no respect for the regional tourism. Totally neglected. There is no respect for Phillipsburg. All the development from the Phillipsburg is going away. Everybody says we love Phillipsburg. I can tell you who is visiting Phillipsburg nowadays. I've never seen a country or a town where the downtown is not being visited. There are taxis, there are tours coming to Phillipsburg. But here all the tours are going away from Phillipsburg. Everybody you discuss, as Sunny explained, after hurricane, he talked about the recent hurricane. I'm talking about Louis. How did we bring it back? Because business community worked hard to bring it back. And today, the same Phillipsburg where the tourism started is suffering. It is our capital. It is our Phillipsburg. Nobody is bothered how to improve there. They're taking away the business from there. And there are so many things which I can say. Sadi has already said what needs to be done. That is for sure. But we should recap the whole thing. I would also like to say one thing. hurricane damaged the airport. But I would say we did not take care of the airport. If something happens to your house, you will let it get destroyed. So that airport doesn't belong to anybody. It was left to get rotten. And so many things are happening. So there are so many things. The business community should be respected. We all should be consulted. Labor should be consulted. The new labor laws have to be implemented. And we must take care of our country. And we are all ready. I can promise you the business community is ready. I won't like to take more of your time, but there are so many other pointers which we should understand what is required, what is not happening. Those have to happen. And we should, everybody loves Phillipsburg. Let us bring the love in action. Let us all get together and make sure that everyone is respected, and together we can. We had 10 governments in 10 years. What am I to say? That means there is no love for the country. That if there is a love for the country, the government will last for a longer time. So these are the few things, if we can take care of it, I'm sure we all can get together and bring back. I don't want to add more things. I don't know how much, I had no time given, but I'll thank you for
Yeah,
giving
because
speak. Thank you very much. I don't
thank
want
you so
more.
thank you so much, Damu uncle. I'm gonna open the floor for questions for anyone who has any questions to any of the IMA members. Please just raise your hand, and you can unmute yourself. Any questions? Yes, Bernadette.
Hi, good evening. I don't have a question, but we're in a very fortunate situation in the sense of we do have a member of parliament listening to Sonny's presentation, which was very thorough. He went through all the various issues that needs to be dealt with. And it's amazing. I mean, I'm also in government on the French side. And what amazes me is we spend so much time discussing when we could save a lot of time if we go to the horse's mouth. What needs to happen, as Sonny suggested, is a cross section of the business community on St. Martin and get their take on what, first of all, what they're going through and how they see coming out of it. That's the kind of information you need to have so you can really make intelligent decisions that's going to have a real impact on the businesses. So I am kind of talking to Cookie really, because when he mentions that they're discussing, I think Cookie, if you can say, wait a minute, can we put this on pause and let's listen to the business community across section, not only IMA, but the building business, the service industry. Get a cross section and hear their plight, hear their cries. And sometimes they have the answers that you guys are already trying to discuss. So that's my comment.
Anybody else? Anybody want to comment on Bernadette? Any comment?
May I just interject?
Yes.
Well, he may be MP Vijlani, but he is here as a vice president of IMA. So I think he should wear his hat of IMA today and not a member of parliament. I apologize if I'm out of line. Cookie.
I may be wearing the IMA hat today, but I told you people will look at me at MP People will look at me as a Rotarian, and people will look at me as IMA. Those facts cannot change. And what Bernadette mentioned, I keep on putting this, but I would like to interject here with what our president outbursted on. I would say the word outburst is because of his love for this country. 40 years or plus, correct me if I'm wrong, he's been here on this island and he has made St. Martin his home. So whenever there's something wrong, he will surely burst up. And of course, forget St. Martin. In our own community, he burst up a lot. So I can understand what he's going through for the whole island. But when I'm in this, now I'm been in the government for last 4 years, I see the situation from both the sides. So I can judge it a little bit better. Of course, Phillipsburg is a dying town, downtown. There are many places, but in the end, it's the money what we need. And the conditions for us to get monies are very difficult, especially set it up by the clauses from CFT and the Holland, Amsterdam, Holland government, whatever they put up. So if we do not meet those criteria, we cannot get funds. And as a autonomous country under Holland, we are only allowed to borrow limited. And those amounts are very like a peanuts. You really cannot borrow too much outside in the market. You can only go through Holland. So that's where the catch 22 is. And of course, most of the time in the last 10 years, government has kept on changing, but there are many things. The reason which is come in the media is always to be blamed on the government, but no, might be the reason of breaking is one person loves more the country than the other. So I have noticed those reasons also coming out why there's a split in the government and why they just break it because they see there's nothing happening for our own country. So don't think that is always negative from the angle, but there are a lot of positive things when they break up because they don't want to sell the country. Thank you, President.
Thank you, Cookie. I would open the floor again to any other questions, any other comments.
Uh, Hi.
Hi, Kenny. Welcome.
Hi, everyone. Forgive my tardiness. But with everything I've listened to so far, I do have one question. Um, I kind of want to direct it at the MP, but I'm asking him not as a MP, not as a Rotarian, and not as the vice president of IMA, but I'm asking him as Siddharth Cookie Bijlani. What do you feel we could do? Some solutions we could have for all the things that Sunny said in his presentation. What some of the things you think the island should do or government should do? You yourself personally, what do you think?
I will have to rephrase the answer what Sunny, because when Sunny was doing his presentation, half of the time I was attending the coalition meeting also. So I did not hear complete of his presentation because I thought I will give him a call tonight to ask on that. But still, I will get the whole presentation and I will surely give you a written answer on that. I feel the way the government has moved forward is my um, up party is more like a business community, is more like a business party, and NA being the other way around. But still, they have put themselves in our shoes and understood a lot. And what they have really, really gathered up on is try to save jobs for majority of the people. The agenda is that. That's why the SSRP came in, where the workforce, according to SZV, a majority of them are under SZV and they can get at least, I'm not saying 100% of their salary, but they were getting 70, 60, 40, 80%, 90%, depending on how the business was. The pinch which the businessman was getting, it was only a part of salary. Anyone who runs a business, salary is only 10% of the business. You have 40% expense. The 30% expense, when there is no business, from where will it come? We had to beg, borrow, steal to run our business. That's why you see a lot of businesses are closing down because they cannot work from might be 1 month or 2 months also. And the other problem is the the worst labor laws that we have from last 40, 50 years, we are still prolonging them in our today's life, which have to be changed years ago. And it's for the betterment of both the sides. You perform, you make more money. You don't perform, bye-bye to you. Should be in place long back. And that way, everyone will benefit out of that. So this is what I see, and this is where the tripartite committee came in the way. From 3 years they've been working, they came up. The tripartite is a mix of employer, employment, and the government. So you have all the three sectors working on some kind of laws which are compatible to each and every party. And Mr. Damu was a member of that group, and they came up with all those laws. Those has to be enacted upon. And that would give benefits to everyone, even the employer and the employees and the government. All three would have been benefited. But the rest of the things of his presentation, I will look into it and I will surely send a written answer to President Dolly and then she can circulate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Cookie. And for anyone who actually doesn't know, Kenny is the president of our Rotaract. So
I know him before that too.
no, there might be members who don't know him. I wanted to introduce him.
We ran some elections together.
Any other
Yes, we have. Yes, we have. Yes, we have.
any other questions? Okay, I don't see any.
Can I say something?
Sure, of course, Damu uncle.
I gave some pointers. What is to answer the gentleman who just questioned the cookie? The point is, let us understand what democracy is. We are failing to understand democracy. We have to respect the business community. We should consult the business community. As somebody said, as Bernadette said, that they should take cross section of the businesses, right? But we even want to come forward. We are not called. The only thing is we respect our ministers. We respect our member of parliament. We elected them, but they must come forward to consult. They must give proper respect to the business community. That is the key. That is the key. That business will tell you what it is, and once you agree to it and get it implemented. That is all I want to say. If there is no tripartite committee for more 1.5 years, whatever we did in the tripartite committee, as per democratic law, if a minister is in charge and if he finds that all the three parts are agreeing to it and signed, then why it cannot go into action? What more discussion you want? You want to spend more money finding out more things? It has to be implemented. Only the legal people have to just correct few things. The consultation is not there. Consultation is not there. That is what is required. It is our government. We love them. They are our ministers. We love them. But the consultation should take place, and then whatever is agreed should be implemented. That's all I want to say.
Thank you, Damu uncle. I would like to thank the IMA for coming tonight and giving such a wonderful presentation. Thank you, Sunny, very much. And thank you for your input, Damu Uncle and Cookie. Kenny, since I have you here, would you like to say a few words to our sunrisers? We actually, before you came in, we were talking about your Rotaract meeting as well. We would love to just have a few words from you before we move on.
Hi again, everyone. Please forgive me for being late. For the most part, family held me up. But I'm happy to be part of the meeting. I was really, I had a great meeting myself with my Rotaract general meeting. And of course, President Dolly and a few other Rotarians were there. And they definitely invited me and welcomed me to their meeting. And I was happy to come. And I'm happy I'm here now. Like I said, I missed, I think maybe half of Sunny's presentation, but it was very interesting from the things I was hearing and things that I am interested in because COVID has affected all of us and we're still dealing with it. And even though things might seem like they're dying down, it's still out here and it's still very much a real threat. So I was very much intrigued and kicking myself that I didn't hear it from the start. But other than that, again, once again, I'm just happy to be here. So much familiar faces, people I know from before Rotaract and Rotary. And thank you guys for having me and hope to see some of you guys to some of our meetings too.
Thank you so much, Sunny. Thank you so much, Kenny. I'm going to move on with our upcoming events. We have our board meeting tomorrow, October 15th at 7 p.m. The link has been sent already. On the next general meeting we have is an election meeting, which is going to be next week, Wednesday, and it is a closed meeting. After that, we have the Mid-Isle Polio Walkathon. As mentioned before, the tickets will be available at the venue. And the last speaker of the month would be Sagan, the radio host. She would be talking about the effective productivity and task solutions for non-profit administrative work, which will be on October 28th. And with that, I would like to open the floor for any comments, remarks, anybody who would like to say anything. Okay. I see no comments. I see no hands.
Uh,
Yes,
Dolly,
Uncle.
I just I want to say thank you to everybody, and it was nice connecting to every one of you. Thank you so much. Thank you for